What's up, y'all? New Futuristic music video just dropped. As a result, we have a dope raw BTS from the entire shoot on our new Learn Filmmaking online program. So in the Learn Music Videos, if you're signed up for that, or Learn Cinematography, we just dropped this awesome new raw BTS of the entire music video shoot. So go check it out. I think it's 30 plus minutes. I think it might even be 40 minutes of just like all the behind the scenes conversations, tips and tricks, how we shot it, how we lit it, everything. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek of that right now. So just enjoy these first couple free minutes and then go sign up if you're so inclined. Appreciate you guys.
What's going on, everybody? Tom here. I was the DP on the Futuristic 2K21 music video. I'm going to be kind of breaking that down today. Yeah, we've got a pretty good selection of raw BTS captured on the shoot day of this music video. And as you kind of saw in that opening bumper, there's quite a few different looks that we did. So, throughout the video, as this raw kind of behind the scenes plays, I'm going to walk you through some of the gear that's being used and, ways that you can kind of implement some of these looks maybe on your next project. Even if you don't have two cameras, don't let this be sort of discouraging. You could, get away with a lot of what we did with a single camera. We just did that from like a time efficiency standpoint. That way we didn't have to continually have to rebalance the Steadicam. Even though that doesn't take too long, that way Jake can just kind of run in and get his shots. Right now our first look that we're setting up for is a shipping container, and we are mounting Asteras to the ceiling. This is actually a warehouse that Jake and I both own, and this shipping container, as you can see, is made out of metal, and yeah, we've mounted the Astera tubes to the ceiling. And what we've done to do this is we bought magnets from Amazon and kind of actually adhered them to the clips to the Asteras, and that actually just allows you to essentially put the Astera on magnet stick to metal, so the tubes now kind of can stick anywhere you want them to. So yeah, that was a pretty easy modification. Below this video I will actually share the exact magnets I bought from Amazon, so if you have an Astera kit or are looking to make some very similar magnet clips for your own lights, this would be a good place to start. But yeah, one of the biggest pieces of gear that we used on this music video, you can kind of see it here in the foreground. It's called a Cartoni Lambda 3-axis head. And the Cartoni head actually by design is a 2-axis head. So if you are looking to rent this on your next job, you do need to specify that you need the 3rd axis, the roll axis. So if you think of a tripod, right, it has 2 axes, pan being left and right, tilt being up and down. And the 3rd axis, which tripods don't have a 3rd axis because they are just a 2-axis, pan and tilt. The 3rd axis is roll. So you'll kind of see some BTS of it later in this video. Just kind of want to introduce that this is a big component of this video, is being able to use this head. I'm going to kind of let the raw BTS kind of play out. Jake and I are kind of walking through a certain shot right now. This is one of the big master performance scenes. So I'll jump back in to kind of narrate in a little bit. Your lighting setup is at 100%, there's usually other things that you're going to be waiting for. That tunnel for me was already lit, camera was already built, but in certain circumstances, the artist Zach was still getting ready. We were kind of still waiting for a few things to arrive. So at that point, don't just have your grip and gaffer just stand around. See if you can get them onto the next setup. And in this instance, my gaffer and key grip are actually working on our master performance shot, and I knew that this was going to take 2 or 3 hours to set up, just given that there was a lot of rigging, I just wanted them to get a head start. So the tunnel was ready, and you can see I'm kind of having them tie ropes off on the ceiling, and we'll get to this setup later. But I guess the point I'm trying to convey is, try to use any downtime you have. If a certain set is at 100% from a lighting standpoint, get your guys onto the next one, because that's going to help you move a lot more efficiently. And yeah, now that we kind of are seeing the Lambda head, we're mounting Jake's camera. This is B cam. Like I said, A cam is on steady. It's just going to stay on steady all day. And anytime we want to use this specialty 3-axis head, we're just going to throw Jake's camera on. So right now I'm kind of balancing the head. And that might be a term that a lot of you aren't familiar with because, tripod, what elements of a tripod need to be balanced? Because I know, typically you think, oh, a Steadicam obviously needs to be balanced or a gimbal needs to be balanced. But there are certain dials that you do need to rotate. And, if you are using this head specifically, that just allows you to rotate the camera roll axis and have the weight be evenly distributed.
With my location, hot shit, this country, grab my highlighter, hammer that I'm out through a paint. On the block and I'm taking shots, I pause lead like I'm caught in the Matrix.
And yet, kind of building off of that, we did, for this next setup, kind of utilize a very similar setup. Knowing that Jake wanted this to be very front lit, typically a lot of these NBA post interviews, they're lit in a way where it almost feels like a news camera has a light rig to it. So you can kind of see I'm actually keying with two sources. And I know that might sound confusing because some of you might think, oh, key light, isn't that its own thing? Well, basically, yeah, and to some extent, we are keying this with that larger diffusion. You can kind of see his circles illuminating behind Jake's head. That is a Leica going through 250 diffusion. And that is doing, honestly, 90% of the work. That's lighting not only the space, but the subject as well. But we also rigged an Astera just above camera and had it play at about 50%. And what that does is it kind of helped pop the highlights in his skin tones a bit further because it's not being diffused, So that was just sort of a nice little trick I like to do is kind of like a two-part key, a larger source that's kind of lighting most of the space and then a smaller little unit that's not diffused, just popping, giving a little extra eye light and popping the highlights in the skin tones.